Greetings, everyone. Core here, and time for another midnight review. Went to go see the Sonic movie, which definitely has a lot of history. At least as far as me, I pretty much grew up on the Sega Genesis. That was my first console, and pretty much Sonic was my game. Back in the day, of course, it's the game quality has deteriorated over time, but overall, the original, Sega classics are great. Which brings us to this movie, which is luckily also pretty great. um, so there was a lot of backlash when first released the first trailer for Sonic. Just his redesign that they gave him just looked horrible. Honestly, it just looked like a person with just a Sonic head. Like it, the proportions were just too human. Like the look, the eyes, the teeth. People were freaking out about. It was pretty much like they mocapped a person and just added the blue skin with the spikes, and that's it. But luckily, the studio actually heard it and noticed the backlash and decided, hey, let's push this back a couple months and let's put some money into it and redesign them. And it definitely shows. There's a channel called Corridor Digital. I think they're just called Corridor Crew now. They do like breakdowns of CG, VFX, stuff like that, and they broke down the Sonic trailers. It's just night and day when they compared the two, the redesign and the original. Like they definitely, it, it shows that they tried for sure, and it shows that they cared, about the fans, considering Sonic is pretty beloved for a lot of people, and I think honestly, I think the movie would have been okay at best, if they kept the original design. If everything was just the same with the original, I think it would have been okay. It wouldn't have been anything special. But luckily, the redesign does help in a lot of places, and it makes them look more like Sonic, of course, and just makes them look more. I mean, they never showed the original little Sonic, the little kid Sonic design, so that could have been pretty horrifying if they didn't redesign, Baby Sonic along with the more, grown up Sonic that is how is through this whole movie. But still, like, uh, I'm so glad they redesigned them, and I'm so glad this movie is not terrible. It's definitely the story is, uh, how would you say the story is kind of, it's in a way it's very similar to E.T. except for he could talk. E.T. didn't really, he said a few words, but didn't really talk as fluently as Sonic does. So there's a big difference there. But more or less, it's E.T. But granted, of course, Sonic is has a lot of history and stuff like that to work with. So yeah, but overall, the story isn't anything we haven't seen before. It takes a lot of the same paces and same steps as other movies, but because it's Sonic and he adds that speed to his character and just his character alone, which felt like they also redesigned a little bit, maybe added some different lines or just did something. I know they changed his voice for sure. He is not the original voice that they had in the original trailer, so they overhauled him completely, and it works. There's a lot of good moments, laugh moments. There's a couple of adult jokes in this movie, which is pretty awesome because yeah, all the people that grew up with Sonic, me included, are adults now and are probably taking their kids to see this movie. So yeah, it's pretty. There's some really good jokes actually in this movie. Now that I think about it more, uh, there's some good wordplay. There's some good banter. There's really good just timing with some of the jokes. It's just man, like it might be the best video game movie so far. I say so far because yeah, man, like yeah, we had the Marvel movies. It was I can't really think of anything else, any other movies, video game movies wise, that were just as good. I guess you could say like, you know, Mortal Kombat maybe was pretty, cheesy, but it was enjoyable. Uh, yeah, man, I can't, I honestly can't think of another video game movie that is just as good. I mean, okay, I don't know if you consider Angry Birds a video game movie because it's a mobile game, and there's a whole discussion on that between mobile gamers and regular gamers. So, but I wouldn't really consider it as much. I mean, that one was definitely more cartoonish, more child focused. This one's definitely more does shoot for more adults, more older people. Granted, of course, there are some kid stuff, and of course, the there's pretty much the standard fart joke. Luckily, only one in this movie, which yes, the kids did chuckle. They also chuckled at a few other jokes too, so they seem to have found it enjoyable as well. And I found it very enjoyable. It was fun. I was smiling. I was just enjoying the whole movie the whole time, and just it was nice seeing uh, a very good video game movie. So overall, I'd say it's worth your dollar if you go see it. There is some end credits, which definitely kind of could figure out what it's gonna be, but yeah, there's one right at the start. No, it's like you have like the fancy credits, and then you got the first end credits, but then you have the very end credits. No, you have the fancy credits, so you have a mid credit scene, which the fancy credits I like to call it, which is like the first half with the actors and the directors and music and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. It's animated in the 8-bit, well, 16-bit style, kind of like a Sega Genesis. So that's pretty cool. It pretty much runs down the whole movie, which is pretty. I mean, we've seen that before, but it's just cool to see. Which I think it would not have worked if they kept the original design of Sonic. So luckily they changed it, and it fits so much better. So there's that. But yeah, there's I believe it's mid credits. Yeah, because I didn't say for the whole end credits, because pretty much that mid credit scenes you're like, yeah, they can't really add much more to it, but to it. So maybe a sequel. If a sequel comes along, I think that would be pretty cool. I feel like it would focus more on the Sonic characters, maybe dimension hopping or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just quick rundown with the actors. The main guy was it? Oh, man, totally messed it up now. It's Tim or Todd because there's a joke in the movie about that. But yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, he had some good timing. He was very enjoyable. Um, you know, granted, I well, mostly anyone could probably go on that scene, but I don't know where he's from. I know I've seen him in other stuff, but just can't think off the top of my head. But he was good. He had really good banter, really good interactions with Sonic and stuff, and Robotnik, and just even his wife. Yeah, yeah, I think they're married. Uh, she's pretty funny too as well, and just overall, everybody did a very good job. Nothing felt too corny. Jim Carrey's character is just it's ridiculous, and yeah, if it wasn't Jim Carrey, really putting his 100% into it, I don't think not many people could have pulled it off as well as him because of his timing, his emotions, his actions, his just energy that he flows. Which, yeah, man, he goes all out in this movie, and I'm glad to see Jim Carrey back in comedy again. Having fun definitely shows. So there's that. But yeah, let's wrap it up. There's some really cool scenes, music wise. The pacing was very good as well. Didn't drag, didn't you know, it wasn't slow for sure. So yeah, definitely, I would say worth your dollar. If not, definitely check it out when it comes out on you know streaming, Blu-ray, DVD, digital, all that stuff. So till next time, probably not gonna have any movie reviews until March. Nothing really interesting. Nothing. There's not too many good movies that are really interesting coming up in the next 2 weeks. So I'll have to wait until March 6th, well 5th for Pixar's Onward. I already got my ticket, so we'll see how good that is. But until then, later.